Hey, my friends, it's Steve with Real Progressives, and we're going to talk tonight about letting your yes be yes and your no be no. You know, it's very, very important, as you've seen through this election cycle, as you've probably experienced in your jobs, as I'm sure you've experienced in your own households, that you grow to expect people to tell you the truth. You grow to expect people to present to you things that are not falsehoods. And when they do say falsehoods, it affects you. It hurts, right? It like changes your whole world. Hey, Sandy, how are you? And for people like me, when I think about, living in a fake world, when I think about agreements, when I think about, believing in something greater than myself, or when I believe in you, when I take you at your word, when I trust you, when I believe that your yes is yes and that your no is no, I act as if, you know what I mean? I take steps as if you're telling me the truth. And then once that trust is broken, it's impossible to get it back. I shouldn't say it's impossible. It's very, very hard, and it's got to be earned back. So being someone that handles politics, being someone that talks a lot about economics, being someone who has campaigned for, God, it feels like 18 months, being someone who's been doing this kind of thing for a long time now, when I see this stuff, I've gotten so cynical that I don't believe anyone's telling the truth anymore. And deep within my heart, that has dramatically affected who I am. That has changed me. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't give you permission to change me. But yes, I did. Because it was stupid. It was stupid on my part to trust to begin with. I think about it like this. When you sit there and you open yourself up so much that you stop critical thinking, and you stop questioning what's going on around you, you've become useless. And yet at the same time, if you swing too far to the point where you don't believe anything, then you're stuck. You're freaking stuck, and you're useless too. There's like a pendulum. There's like a curve of trust where it's sanity and then it's insanity, where it's too much cynicism or not enough cynicism. And I think so many people have walked into politics maybe for the first time. Maybe they were jaded before. And they're sitting there completely and utterly distraught over what they've seen from the WikiLeaks. They're distraught over what they found out occurred. They're distraught that there was some sort of non-hostility pact between Bernie and Hillary and all the gang going all the way back to May of 2015. They're distraught when they realize that they invested in a lie, that they carried the flame for a lie, that their heart beat full with truth. They believed they were right. Their heart was right. But they were taken advantage of. They were lied to. They were gaslighted. Now you see this all the time in cutthroat business, where somebody enters into an agreement and then they try to change the terms later on. But this is what we're dealing with from the leaders of our nation. This is what we're dealing with our press. This is what we're dealing with our friends and loved ones who have developed coping skills based on accepting lies and doing nothing about it, but going along to get along. At what point in time is searching for truth and demanding truth from those around you? At what point in time does that become a wasted effort? At what point in time do you say, I can't control the world, but I can control me? I have been fundamentally changed, not only by this movement, but people within this movement. I have been fundamentally changed by charlatans and liars. I have been fundamentally changed by people whose yes is not their yes and whose no is not their no. I have been fundamentally changed by demanding excellence and receiving less than excellence, by asking excellence of myself and being distraught that I can't achieve the excellence, the bar that I set for myself, by sitting there watching people who I know and love create false ideas that create stories to fill in gaps because they can't take not knowing. They can't take saying, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Steve, I can't tell you. Here's what I think, but I can't say for sure. Instead, they speak with absolute authority. And then you've got the situation of, hey guys, can you prove that to me? Can you show that to me? Can you demonstrate that for me? And they can't. Why? Because they made it up in their head. They came up with a falsehood to fill in the gap, the lacuna in their life. They filled in the gap. A lacuna is a hole or a gap in a musical segment. There's a band named Lacuna Coil, who's an awesome Italian kind of alt metal band. And we are full of lacunas right now, folks. We are absolutely full of gaps in knowledge. And where I have struggled mightily is to retain my sanity by not trying to fill the gaps with bullshit. I don't try to come up with explanations for bullshit because there's enough that I can verifiably deal with that keeps me feeling like I'm sane, albeit just by a thread. But far too often in this movement, not just our movement, but all over this nation, people are distraught from being lied to. They are utterly, they're in PTSD in a very, very real way. They have emotional triggers based on lies told to them. They thought that we had a chance at retaking our democracy. They thought they had a chance of being heard. And what happens? The duopoly liars come flying in to gaslight you. The show ponies within the movement bait and switch you and they lie to you. The people that are not truthful swoop in with boatloads of their own version of the truth. And you're left spinning your wheels, digging out of the bullshit they've just poured at your feet. It's like cement shoes trying to get through the bullshit. So November 9th is going to be here soon. And then what? Has your journey just been about this election? I know my sanity is like on a frayed edge, man. We're talking about by a thread. You know what I mean? I'm talking about by a thread. I'm there. I'm still there. But when I watch the debates, for example, I spent the entire time debunking their economic lies. And every time I would hear them, and I would watch the mainstream media threads where regular people were, people that I know, not like bots, but people that I actually know. They're sitting there hitting like, when they're telling them lies about war, telling them lies about government debt, telling them lies about deficits and any number of things, telling them lies about fighting for the environment. I don't know how we get past that, because even in our own progressive media, there's just not enough of us willing to unite together. There's just not enough of us willing to carry the weight of the revolution on our backs. We are too focused on our own selves and not focused enough on bringing truth and working together. And every step along the way, you got division, going into like little strange pockets of weirdness. And we're back to the Judean People's Front and the People's Front of Judea all over again. Well, I like so-and-so better than I like so-and-so, so I'm doing so-and-so, and I'm not doing so-and-so. We don't have 2 years to get our act together for midterms. We don't have 4 years to wait for the next presidential election. But we're fatigued. We've been lied to. We've been duped by our friends, neighbors, politicians, employers, everyone. Lies everywhere. And at some point in time, I see people slowly but surely going into that fetal position versus ready to fight. They're just like, no mas, man, too much. I'm just so ready for this to be over, man. That's scary, because none of us can do this alone. None of us can do it alone. We need every one of these friggin' people falling asleep again to wake up. And we need the people who are woke up to be about the movement and not their fricking selves. Look, seriously, if I could come out here, with a sheet over my head or like some sort of Bozo the Clown thing to get people to listen, I would do it. Whatever it takes to wake people up and to get people out of their freaking couches and out of their freaking comfort zone to do some meaningful stuff, to learn some meaningful things, to change their own paradigm. I would do it. But the lies that we've got to fight through require effort. It's not something that you can just do and make up as you go. It requires effort. It requires a team. No man can do this on his own. No woman can do this on their own. And when truth becomes so scarce that telling it becomes a revolutionary act, you know that we have crossed into truly dystopian times. I'm tired of being lied to, folks. I'm nobody's sucker. I come out here with one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to tell the truth. Jill Stein has got a huge mountain to climb to ever crack 5% the way they've got this shit rigged. From the polling, to the media, to the burners still holding on to the cult of personality. So that's the real story, folks. There is no in between. The real story is she's got a huge hill to climb. And not enough progressives are actually progressive. Too many of them are Bernie cultists. And I love Bernie, but I'm not a cult worshiper. Too many people are about themselves and not the movement. And if they can profit from the movement, they will. Not me, us was more than a motto to me. Folks, it was everything we tried to found Real Progressives on. It's what motivated us, was the idea of waking people up and creating a Real Progressives army. I don't want to falsely unite. Do you understand that? I don't want to just unite to unite. I don't want to say cute things to unite if they're not real things. I don't want to stump you guys with a bunch of political speak. I want a bunch of people to wake up and stay woken up so that we can prepare for what's next. And you know what? It's okay to not know what's next, because there's your lacuna. Another lacuna. You don't know what's next. You're not able to see what's next. You can guess, but you don't know. You don't know. It could be fantastic. It could be really horrible. But one thing's for sure. If you don't stay awake, and if you don't keep your cynicism, like faith, in check, when truth hits, you won't know what it is. Your stomach won't even be able to tell you the right answer, because you'll be so screwed up from the gaslighting and all the PTSD you just went through. You need to stay with other people who are woke. And you need to get a real discerning eye between what's hype and what's real. What's making you smile because it's fun versus what maybe doesn't make you smile but is true. Folks, truth is a rare commodity right now. Honor and integrity are rare commodities right now. Self-centeredness is a very big quality right now. I got mine is a big quality right now. The Ayn Rands of the world have penetrated not just the Democrats, but the progressives as well. A lot of people say they're progressives, but when their lifestyle doesn't match it, you know you've got a charlatan. You know you have a charlatan. We have got to eat our own dog food. We've got to live a progressive example. We can't teach what we don't know. And we certainly can't mentor that which we don't actually do. And we could try, but it's a fake, it's a phony, it's a lie. A lot of stuff I say isn't sexy, folks. I admit it. I tell you straight up, it's not sexy at all. Because I want to make sure that the people that ride along with me are willing to ride along for real. They're willing to live in an era of truth. They're willing to do what's right and what's necessary for truth. And then we, as a team, as a group, as real progressives, folks, if you're watching right now, if you're watching this right now, and you've liked our page, and for those especially that have donated, etc., if you're a part of Real Progressives, share truth. Share truth with a couple of people every day. Don't overwhelm them with a bunch of lies, hyperbole, filling in holes that you can't verify. Because you won't get a second chance to tell them a lie. Folks do not want to be lied to anymore. And even if you think you got it right, make sure you got it right. Don't spread falsehoods, no matter how tempting they are. If you can't specify specifically what's going on, stay in the realm by which you are for sure. Don't be guilty of telling the lies that have been told to you inadvertently. I have been fundamentally changed by all the lying. My heart and my spirit have been just crushed from liars, people without integrity, people who are selfish and self-centered, power-hungry people. I have been ravaged, as have many of you, by selfish people, by liars. What is it going to take for you to accept that you don't have to know everything and that you could say, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll try and find out? It's okay not to know. It's not okay to lie. And for God's sake, let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you enter into an agreement, honor your agreements. If you're working with people, work with them. If you're fighting for a cause, stay true to your cause. Don't equivocate. That's the whole point of being a real progressive. It's not any one trait. It's a whole host of traits founded in integrity, founded in being able to say, I was wrong. Being able to clean up your side of the street and not owning someone else's, but also extending an olive branch when people have crossed the line. That's hard, trust me. I've got a lot of people that I've probably crossed, that have crossed me, etc. But I try to stay full of integrity. It's very important to me. Or I have a lot of dissonance when I screw that up. Do you know what dissonance is? Not cognitive dissonance, life dissonance, spiritual dissonance. Imagine hitting a pitchfork. Ding! And then you hit your guitar. It's like, that's the outer person and the inner person not in sync. That's when your yes is not your yes and your no is not your no. That's when you're lying to people and you feel that. Separating the wheat from the chaff, folks. When you want truth, when you yearn for truth, when you desire truth more than you desire things, more than you desire recognition, more than you desire anything, you want to save the country through truth. You want to save your neighbors through truth. You live that life. You choose. You make the choice to live that life. And you know what's funny? A right-winger could come in here and could listen to this and not be offended. A progressive should be able to come in and listen to this and not be offended. Truth and integrity are incredibly important in an era where lying comes so easily. I talk an awful lot about economics because I think of it as the root of every ill that we have right now. And I've got tons of people that talk about economics and they don't have a clue about economics, but they feel compelled to fill those lacunas with a lot of garbage. There are a lot of white people that have never been black a day in their life that think they know what it's like to be black, and they fill in a lot of lacunas. They come up with answers for why they are the way they are. There are a lot of Christians who have never been gay in their life, or maybe they have and they've been repressed, but don't know what it's like to be gay, but yet they fill in all the lacunas. You understand what I'm saying here, folks? When you don't know something, it's best to ask questions, not fill in the gaps with made-up shit. It's another form of self-delusion. And it's the seeds, the fertilizer for much lying. Because once you say it enough times, the lie becomes true to you. And that's how bigotry is formed. That's how lawsuits are created, by lying to people. That's how friendships end, by lying to people. You ever seen somebody come home late at night? Maybe they had a flat tire or something like that, and you have it in your head that they cheated on you or something like that. I don't know. You come up with whatever the scenario. You have no proof. Inside your head, you're saying something doesn't smell right, and you want to trust your gut, but you got no proof. And yet, so many people in their own personal life, as a means of protection, fill in the lacuna with a lot of caca. It's the same with economics. It's the same with race relations. It's the same with gender issues. My goodness, we're on a spectrum, folks. This is stuff I didn't know before. Jacqueline Luqman had the luxury of speaking with Misty Snow, a transgender female. I mean, we're talking about someone who in modern society is misunderstood even by her own supporters in many ways. And it's okay to not know. The key issue is to find out, to ask questions. We're never going to get anywhere if we keep filling the gaps in our life with lies to make it feel better. Bernie had to have been beaten up before he endorsed her. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Politics is a game of pressure and power. Who's got the power? Who's got the knowledge? Who's got the infrastructure? And we can leverage you. We can say, we'll make you an offer you can't refuse. But there is no guarantee. There's no proof that Bernie was punched in the neck or busted in the jaw. And yet many people said it as if it were true, like verifiably true. And that makes us look crazy. That's a lie, and I don't want to defend your lies. Hell, I don't want to defend my own lies, so I don't tell them. Unless you can verify it, don't spread it. You know? I mean, it's very, very hard, because there's enough truth out there, verifiable truth. Like when I talk economics, I can verifiably walk you through end to end to end, and people still say, what are you, 13? Government can't spend out of blah, blah, blah. They need a tax. Somebody's talking out of ignorance. Somebody's talking out of knowledge. And there the two shall meet, because unfortunately, people get stuck in the lie they taught themselves. They believe. And obviously, that's my sweet spot, so that's what I focus on. But there's a lot more to it. Guys, we're building a huge organization. Look. Real Progressives have been around for 18 months. 18 months is not a long time. But in 18 months, we're at 91,000 followers. 91,000 followers. That is huge. There's a lot of people out there that have been doing this a lot longer that don't have 91,000 followers on Facebook. Now, we're just getting started on YouTube. We only have like 1,200 followers. If you are not following us on YouTube, please follow us on YouTube. So at the end of the day, Real Progressives has got 4 pillars: activism, education, media, and policy. Of those 4 pillars, we have 5 knowledge areas going horizontal. The top one is economic justice. Fancy that. The second one is environmental and ecological justice. The third one is peace with justice. The fourth one is equality. And the fifth one is a beautiful thing. The fifth one is democracy. Now, consider at the bottom, our foundation is truth. And our vision is to bring progressivism to the mainstream. Now, think about what it would take for me to build an organization where I've got a media pillar that supports an activism pillar, that supports an education pillar, that supports a policy pillar. Not just goes out there and whoops it up on the media pillar. But that's just a small bit of what I'm doing, right? We've got to be able to educate people as well. And that comes through many forms. And we're in the process of designing that. Why? Because we want to spread truth. We want to fill in the lacunas. So when it comes to policy, once we know the truth, once we know the situation, we want to impact the powers that be. And we want to change policy. And when it comes to activism, we want to lead marches. We want to lead direct actions. We want to support activists in the field. We want to support activists in the field that actually want to be a part of real progressives. We want them to be a part of real progressives. So we, within our 4 pillars, can support them within our media thing, not just live streams and a couple TV shows like Oprah. We want to build documentaries. We want to build those shorts that Al Jazeera does so well. There's like 2-minute clips. We want to be able to do these things that go viral so that we can make it easy. Now, one of the other things that I love, people that are really starting to get the economics of this thing, they're asking me to do videos where I have graphics and I have drawings and I have some animations and I have some different things to show what I'm talking about so you can see it pictorially. Sorry about that. That takes software. I mean, I could sit there and try and draw it, but you realize, just so you all know, I'm looking at the camera so I can see whether or not I got a decent signal. If I turn it this way, all the words will be written the wrong direction. And you'll need to watch the telecast in a mirror to be able to read what I'm doing. I can't flip it around because if I flip it around, I won't be able to tell if my stream dropped or not because live streaming sucks. So I would need to either record it and pray to God you guys watch a YouTube video, or I would need to be able to do it live stream in a way that I can do it forward facing, which requires some different things. I would need a better camera. I would need a better connection, whatever. But I want to do that because you guys need to learn this stuff for us to change the world. You know, other people on our team are going to be dealing with powerful issues like the environment. The same exact story they're going to deal with in Pillar 1, activism. They're going to deal in Pillar 2, media. They're going to deal in Pillar 3, educating the public. Partnering with education groups that do things if we can't do it ourselves. And the last one, affecting environmental policy. You see how this works? This is a really, really nice system, and it works over and over and over again. I can talk it through every single issue. It's a beautiful business plan. I love it immensely because I really think that we can change the world. We're not a one-trick pony. We're not just one person doing, some stuff. I love our gear. I don't know if you guys have seen our gear, but we got the old logo on our shirts. Like I've got my Real Progressives hoodie on right now, but this is our old logo. We got our new logo. We're getting ready to put that stuff out there. Our brand is freaking tight because you know what our brand represents? Our brand represents truth, integrity, and honesty. We're not here to get ours. We're here to help all of us change the world. And any funds we get will be to do just that. And as we grow, I want so badly to eventually be able to make this thing work in such a way. And we're debating, I think it's going to be a 501c3 because we don't want to support specific politicians. We don't want to be campaigning. That's not the goal here. We want to be elevating issues, and we can definitely work with candidates, and we can definitely get the issues out there. We just can't campaign for them, and that's okay. I don't need to do, I'm not doing it again. Not as an organization anyway. We want to prep you all for the next election so that you guys know what to demand. And we're going to start direct action writing to your congressman about modern monetary theory. We're going to put flyers together, things that you can send them directly, packages so that you can send them to your congressman, your senator, to the president. So we can send these things to the media and blitz the hell out of the media. Not just the freaking alt media, but the mainstream media. We know you know now. This is the stuff that Real Progressives wants to do. We don't want to just have a really, really cool baseline. We don't want to just have a friggin', fireworks off in the background and flashy stuff. We want to change the frickin' world, man. We want to change the world. And we've got a really awesome team. Folks, my team is devoted, and they are not ego-driven. They're not me. My team wants to make this thing happen, and they're willing to work behind the scenes to make it happen. We're out to change the world. And it seems big. Doing this has given me entree to some different people. I've been able to talk to different people. And I told him that I would do it, so I'm going to do it. Just as I talked to Tim Canova the other day on the phone, and I asked him about education. And I asked him about monetary theory, and I asked him about what he would do to present this and how he would build it. And he said, Steve, you know something? He goes, Progress for All, which is Tim's business, which is what he's doing to try to affect change with progressive candidates. And it is nonpartisan. But what Tim said to me was, Steve, don't try and take on the whole world. Take on what you can do effectively. One bite at a time. You can't eat the elephant in one bite. Bite off what you can eat. And know that the things that you want to do are doable, but they're just really massive. And they're going to take a real honest-to-God benefactor, somebody that can help fund you in a big way that has that same vision. And, we talked about grants. He said it's very competitive in grants. But, it's there. But it's very competitive, and it's very political. He was very honest with me. And I loved the fact that he felt like he could talk to me, because here's the truth. I really respect him. We don't agree on everything. I'll just be straight up. Tim Canova and I do not agree on everything. But I love that guy. That guy is a straight shooter. And I think he's full of integrity. And this is the kind of stuff that we want to build. We want to build. I reached out to a bunch of different people. Many of the people in the Green Party have said, hey, keep doing what you're doing. We'll talk after the election. But we want to build these strategic alliances. And we're working with the people doing Occupy Inauguration. We're definitely one of the early sponsors of that. And we're now rolling up our sleeves trying to help pitch in now that we finished the Take Back Democracy March. The next big one after the Occupy Inauguration will be the Economic Justice March on April 15th. We're still going to try and get it in front of the IRS or the Federal Reserve. We haven't figured out which one we're going to go for. But since it's April 15th, maybe the IRS is the better place to go. I don't know. Maybe it's the Capitol, since all the spending comes from Congress. We'll have to figure it out. But coming up here on the 14th, I'll be going to an economic convention summit on Capitol Hill where Stephanie Kelton and Paulina Cherneva will be. Unfortunately, the next day, the 15th, they'll be doing another one right up the street from there on preventing the next recession. Now, how many of you guys know that we're nearing an issue where we're going to have to concern ourselves greatly with yet again another recession? And no, it's not because of the gold standard, and it's not the petrodollar. It's austerity. It's the sequestration. But we're going to change these things, or at least bring attention to them. It will be up to you what you do with that information. And after this election, we're going to be looking for people to help us with a share army. Because, folks, do you know how much we got to share? Just Facebook squashes our reach. Facebook doesn't give half of you guys notifications we're even live. We need people that love Real Progressives helping us share our stuff so people know we're even live. 91,000 people and 57 are watching. Think about that. That's a pretty big ratio. Really bad one. But the point is that of 91,000 people, 60 people are watching right now. We need help sharing this around. We need help getting the word out. And we also need help within our donations. And for those of you who have done that, thank you so much. We're over $550 a month in pledged donations. That's not a lot, but it's a lot. It's huge. We've only been soliciting them for like a month. And I know people who've been doing a lot longer than us that aren't really that much further ahead. We have got to do this because we've got a large team and we've got big plans. And we want to be able to make the videos, not just little videos like this, but real, honest-to-God, educational videos with the people, with those economists that I've talked about. I would like to be able to do that. In fact, I've reached out to several of them, and they are very, very open to doing the things that we want to do. Like, for example, I don't know, like Neil Tyson deGrasse did Cosmos for the universe. We would like to do Cosmos for economics. How cool would that be? The history of money and talking about the shift from the gold standard to our modern fiat situation. And being able to truly understand it. That's the stuff we're looking to do, folks. We want to change the world. But it has to come from a position of integrity. It has to come from a position of truth. And what we're trying to do is build an organization whose entire foundation is founded on truth. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go for the night. But I want you to know we appreciate even the smallest donations. We appreciate even the smallest amount of sharing of our content. We appreciate you tuning in when we do our live streams. We appreciate when you like our posts and let us know, hey, thank you guys. And your comments are always welcome. And your inbox and your questions. Folks, I get some really good questions. And I love you guys for it. And I try, for those of you who have asked me questions, I've tried really hard to give you good answers. So thank you all very much for sticking with Real Progressives. And know that we are going to continue to do this long past the election. And we do need your help to do that. With that, I am Stephen Grumbine, the founder of Real Progressives. And I'm thankful for you guys hanging out with us. Have a great night and a great weekend.